After a very long 4 years, we have finally gotten Dua Lipa's third studio album, Radical Optimism. To be honest, the lead up to this album felt very misleading. With the release and performances of Houdini and Training Season, it seemed that the album would take on a darker aesthetic and sound. It's a pretty stark difference from not only the rest of the album, but the unexpected beachy aesthetic. In fact, Houdini and Training Season matched the album's sound the least, with Illusion having the most similarities to the other tracks. I kinda figured with the release of Houdini that this album would not be as good as Future Nostalgia. Not because it wasn't good, but because that's a very high standard to meet. Future Nostalgia not only defined Dua's career, but the era of music it came out in. It was the release of this album and the weekends after hours that made many artists take on the retro disco sound. It seemed unlikely that Dua would be able to recreate that for the second time in a row. Like I said before, this record is not as strong as Future Nostalgia, but it's still good. It's not as sonically diverse and keeps with a more toned down production to maintain a more cohesive dancey, Europop sound throughout the tracks. However, it has its moments. Songs like What You're Doing, Houdini, Maria, and End of an Era are really well produced. They are in line with Dua's signature dance pop sound. Lyrically, I think the writing is on the same standard as Future Nostalgia. However, they sometimes can lack a bit of personality, which is to be expected with how private Dua is with her personal life. A very solid intro about the downsides of being a hopeless romantic, and Dua wondering if her new love interest could be the one that begins a new era in her life. I love the double entendre within the title and how it references the end of the Future Nostalgia era, while also acknowledging the potential end of Dua's era as a single woman. Houdini discusses Dua ghosting a guy when she realizes that he isn't going to give her what she needs in a relationship. Although it doesn't match the rest of the album, it is one of the best songs on the record. My favorite part of the song are where the production builds up for the final chorus. With Training Season, Dua expresses how fed up she is with having to teach guys how to date her correctly and just wants someone who already knows how to treat her right. It is my least favorite of the singles that were released. It took a while for the track to grow on me, and it still isn't a song that I come back to very often. I feel like I might have liked it more if there was a better music video with proper choreography. These Walls is about Dua realizing that her relationship is reaching its end, and how that it's probably for the best. I enjoy how, despite the sadness in the lyrics, the song still sounds genuinely and hopelessly optimistic. There is a refreshing self-awareness in the song as Dua realizes how neither of the two sides are benefiting from this relationship. I enjoy the utilization of the walls and how they are used to bring awareness to the problems occurring between both parties. What You're Doing is a fun track where Dua expresses the fear and excitement about entering a new relationship and how it might change her. This is easily one of my favorite songs from the album. It's really fun and it fits the dance crying sound that Dua had previously described. I love the production, and the lyrical content feels reminiscent of Break My Heart and Love Again from the Future Nostalgia album. French Exit makes a reference to the Irish goodbye, which means to leave a place or event without telling anybody. I don't know what differs a French exit from an Irish goodbye, but from what I read, the title is supposed to reference Dua's ex being French. In the song, Dua talks about essentially ghosting her relationship in a way to break up without dealing with any kind of confrontation. I like the song, but I don't think it stands out as much as the other tracks on the album. In Illusion, Dua calls out a guy for attempting to deceive her with a false version of himself and tells him that she can see through his illusion. This one took a while to grow on me. It sounds kinda different from the other two singles and sounds like it could have been a Future Nostalgia B-side. Once you get past that, the song is actually quite fun. The beat is very energetic and addicting, and it makes you want to dance. it would go hard in a club setting. Falling Forever shows Dua experiencing moments of intense emotional highs from being in love and wanting to stay in those moments forever. This was one of my initial standout tracks when I first listened to the album. The song starting off with Dua belting really caught me off guard, but she sounded good though. I like how the song plays with the idea of fleeting love and how intoxicating it can be. I need for Dua to perform this live with full choreography. In Anything for Love, Dua discusses how in this day and age, people will quickly abandon relationships as soon as something goes wrong. She misses the time where people would fight for the things they loved and cared about. It starts out as a piano ballad before quickly transitioning into a more upbeat production. This was my least favorite song upon initial listen. It has grown on me quite a bit, but I still enjoy the other songs far more. It's very groovy and mellow, and I think it helps the album slow down for a moment while offering a nice change in pace from the other songs. In Maria, Dua finds the silver lining in her significant other's past failed relationship. She shows appreciation to his ex, Maria, and acknowledges that she helped him become the man he is today. The guitar and claps in the song really do it for me. The idea of appreciating your significant other's ex for how they help them become a better person really fits with the themes of Radical Optimism. A really nice song overall. In Happy For You, Dua reflects on an old relationship and finds herself feeling genuinely happy for her ex and his new partner and wants nothing but the best for them. It's a really great song to close out the album with how it allows Dua to find closure from that relationship. I think the idea of knowing you truly loved someone because of how happy you are for them and their new relationship is really endearing. The song sounds anthemic and hits in all the right places with the production. While it is not as good as its predecessor, Radical Optimism is a solid project. It has its weak points, but it is a really good summer album and I will be streaming it during the upcoming season. I think the hate for this record is a bit much and just stems from the disappointment of getting a more subdued record after 4 years. If Dua had released the album a few years earlier and had been more clear about what the album's sound would be, I don't think the criticism would have been as severe. Let me know your thoughts and how you felt about the album below.